Hello everyone, and welcome to my next video for the City of Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, in which I'm going to be taking on the Conqueror's Duty Cosmos quest. And I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently for this one. I'm actually going to be doing a duo run of Vayne+Serah, although I am going to bring along a Kistis support because she makes things that much easier, because it's a single target boss and you can just kind of delay it to high hell, which you will really need if you don't want to take any HP damage, especially if you don't have a healer. So, I have spent way too much time yesterday farming for artifacts on the co-op. I think I spent something like 5,000 or 6,000 gems in refreshers and books trying to get perfect artifacts for Serah, and the deed has finally been done. My Serah is perfect. Finally, oh my god, this took way fucking too long to do, and now I have myself questioning whether I even want to use Yuna in the future, because I know she also has these passives. Now I know why in Global they're called cursed artifacts, because these things were really cursed. Do you have any idea how many fucking hours of farming that takes? Jesus Christ. But the good thing about them is that you do them once and you'll never have to do them again, which is why everyone got pissed off when these passives were introduced in the first place. But I can tell you from first-hand experience that it makes a massive difference to how good Serah is. At the very least, I will say you want 3 of the debuff auras. That should be a bare minimum. And maybe you can get some with a Max Brave secondary on it, because Serah's biggest issue without her artifacts is the fact that she has 0 Max Brave to speak of at all. But each one of the charged Moonlight boosts is a 20% increase to Max Brave and an extra use of Moonlight. So not only does it patch up her M Brave issue, but it gives her even more longevity as well, and her debuff auras. So yeah, I mean, they're self-explanatory. The debuff aura is an extra 10% attack max brave to the whole party when you debuff an enemy. So that's 30% at max. She already has a 20% max brave aura, so she gives 50% max brave to the team when an enemy is debuffed. And then she has a generic buff for 20% of max brave, so that's 70% in total for max brave. And then for attack, she has a generic buff for 60% attack. And then with this aura on top of it, she gives 90% attack in total. If your party members don't have any generic attack buffs, then they'll get an increase of 90% attack by being on Serah's team, which is more than Rosa. Serah is de facto the strongest attack buffer in the game, if you have all of her artifacts sorted out. And then the charged Moonlight boost increases her uses by 1, and then her own max brave by 20%, so she gets an extra 60% max brave on top of the aura shenanigans, and she gets 3 more uses of Moonlight. I think it's 10. Which is just, it's just phenomenal. Serah with this setup should last me throughout the entirety of Cosmos. Possibly, in some quests, she might even work in early chaos. I'm not sure, but she's definitely a force to be reckoned with, because not only is she the strongest offensive buffer in the game right now, and she does good damage because her wound plus has splash damage. Moonlight plus is an excellent source of battery. Her EX is 100% AoE, and her debuffs on top of that basically will just completely chunk an enemy's brave before it takes a turn, to the point that the only way an enemy's really going to deal any significant damage when you've got Serah on the team is if they A, break you, or B, gain a ton of brave out of nowhere before they attack. That's the only way, and this boss does actually do just that. Anyway, in the process of farming for Serah, I obviously got a perfect Vayne, because Serah just took way too long. I've seen some people say that the 3 Imperial console boost is preferred, but actually personal experience has shown that if you have 1 mighty force of will, then that skill actually does more damage overall than if you have 3 Imperial console boosts. And you're probably going to be hitting all 9s on his EX anyway, so the only thing that this would do would be to make Mach Wave a little bit stronger. I'm not sure if that strength would be doing more damage, if it would be worth it. I'm tempted to put it on just so that just because it's the uniformity of it. In fact, I think I'll kind of do that, because I will be using other things instead of just force of will. But either setup is fine. 2 or 3 of those, you should be good. And then I'll be bringing along Kistis just for the delays, basically. You know, I'm not really going to use it for very much else. In fact, a 3-turn Kistis would probably be just as well. So yeah, obviously I'm bringing Shiva Summon because the boss is weak to ice. So let's get on the way. So the idea to do a duo run of this came to me because I was just floored by how powerful these two are. You know, like they're really strong. You've got Serah with all of her skill uses, and you've got Vayne with his 3-turn shenanigans. That's just, you know, is just extraordinary, to be honest. So I thought, what better way to showcase their potential than to have only them running the quest. So we're going to start off with a wound because we break everything and debuff everything, and of course they're targeting Serah, all of them. We have to use Force of Will with Vayne to get his Consul's Wisdom buff up. And she gets paralyzed. That's totally fine. So I'm going to use Macwave here because, okay, the thing about Vayne is that he has these 2 buffs. This Consul's Ingenuity, sorry, not Consul's Wisdom, which is what gives an aura buff to the party of 50% max brave and 25% attack, and then it also increases his own max brave and attack by an amount I actually don't know. I'm going to assume it's like 40% or something. Then he's got Conqueror's power. So the thing about Conqueror's power is that when he reaches 3 stacks, he's going to take 3 turns in a row for the price of 1, basically. And Force of Will increase it by 1 stack. Kick and Pummel both increase it by 1 stack. Macwave increases it by 2 stacks. So if I use Macwave, he's going to jump to 3 stacks, and so his next turn will be 3 turns. So I'm just going to use Macwave on this one and take it out. Okay. I'll use Moonlight so that we get the buffs up. She has enough of them; she can afford to waste a skill or 2. And then yeah, we have Vayne with the with the three skills. So which one of these has more health? This one has more health. So I'm going to just pummel it. And then this one, you don't even have to use skills, so we just took them enemies out literally for free. This thing, I'm actually going to use wound, I think, because that Moonlight has high turn rate, but she doesn't get an extra turn here, so that's kind of unfortunate. Actually, I might use Moonlight here because it's going to give Vayne a little bit of battery. And I want to use Force of Will. And so because Force of Will does 2 hits and then 4 hits, he can actually take advantage of the extra battery there. And I'm just going to use Wound to get her... No, I'm going to use Ultimara. Then next turn I'll have to use Wound to keep her unique buff properly stacked on there. There's really no way around taking some level of HP damage here, to be honest. But thankfully, that degree of damage is not enough to take you below the threshold, and you should be fine. We've got Ifrit summon, we've got Shiva summon passives, so you still get the bonus critical damage. Okay, so here we have an example that Vayne's EX is up, but we don't want to use the plus version because if you use the regular version of his EX, it instantly gives him 3 stacks of Conqueror's power. So to be quite honest, I'm just going to use Pummel, Macwave, and then his EX. So on his next turn he'll go straight back into 3 turns. So I'm going to use Moonlight here, both for the battery so he doesn't get broken, and also to increase his attack. Let's see, will it be enough? without force of will. I think I'll use one of them. There we go. So I ended it on a Mach Wave there because the Mach Wave gives 2 stacks of Conqueror's power. So I should actually just be able to use Pummel here and take this thing out, which I can indeed. And he's got 3 stacks of Conquerors, but he's got 3 stacks again, so he's going to take 3 turns. And you see the downside of Serah is that her buffs only last for they only last for 5 turns rather, maximum. So he's already, the thing about Vayne, because he steals so many turns, like he just chews through buffs like they're nothing. So if I don't use Moonlight here, then he's going to get a load of turns where he doesn't get buffs. So I'm going to have to use Moonlight. I might as well use the EX as well, just for free, to take it out. It's one of the only downsides of Vayne. He chews through buffs like nobody's business, so he really appreciates having auras, which Serah also has, to be fair. So I'm going to use Force of Will here, because it will break it and then break it again. We don't get the EX. Unfortunate. So I can use Moonlight to buff him up, and then I saw the turn rate ended with Serah jumping in front here, so I can use Wound to actually get the debuff aura up and to refresh her buffs. And I did not plan this very well because it's targeting Vayne. So if I use Tree of Saphira here, then I'm actually going to get broken, which I was not banking on, to be quite honest. So I'm just going to have to use a Brave attack here. That was my bad, I kind of played that a little bit inefficient there. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. It's got that all attack up. I'm going to use Kiss this, and we need to push this thing back as far as we can. So I'm just going to need to go in and use the EX, to be honest. So I'll use the Mach Waves outside of the summon. And then we'll go into the summon, and this is where I'm going to use Force of Will. The reason I'm doing this is both because Shiva will make it more powerful because he's run out of Serah's buffs, but also because he won't get 3 stacks of Conqueror's power if I keep using the Force of Will during the summon, because I basically don't want him to steal turns. So I can use this during summon and get some nice overflow going on. That's totally fine. And he kind of stole a turn there, which is unfortunate. Still, I'll use that during Shiva because it needs the most increase to the attack power. And here, yeah, we get a lawn shop, which is kind of unfortunate. I think I'm just going to use Laser Whip for the turn rate down, to be honest. need Moonlight to get the buffs back up as soon as possible. Excellent. And because he chews through so many turns, I'm just going to use Moonlight again. Guess he's going to get another 3 turns. Actually, I should have used Force of Will. I should have used Macwave there, because the problem with Force of Will is that it unbreaks and re-breaks an enemy. So, like, if you use regular attacks, then you won't unbreak them. So you can wait for them to recover from break naturally, and then break them, and then you use Force of Will, so you break them again. That's ideally how it goes. So like this. I'm gonna go that, and then you would use Force of Will here to break it again. But here I have to use Macwave, so I get his EX up. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to use Ultimate Arrow to conserve on skill usages. So here you'll see what I mean. I'm going to use Pummel here. And then we can break it twice with this. Even if we don't quite do as much damage. I probably should have used Brave Attack there as well, but never mind. So that's what I mean about it being impossible to avoid the HP damage there, because it just got 5,000 bravery from out of nowhere. And there we go. That takes care of that. So that's not the most efficient run I've done. I could have managed the breaks a little bit better on the boss there, but you saw the concept hopefully, and yeah, these two together are more than enough to plow through the cosmos. In fact, I got a better score with this team than I got on my initial clear with a proper full team. So that'll be it for this. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I will catch you all on the next video. See ya.